Okay, so this is a new route which I just created, the users route, the get, where we use the user model to find every record that has been saved, with an instance of this model, and then that data gotten is represented with doc. I mean, this is not conventional, but you could use whatever. You could still use user, or anything else, and then when that data, so that data is currently in this doc or document, and then we render a web page. After doing that, we render a web page. So this sort, Mongoose has a sort method, that can sort how this data is being, should be displayed. And there I assigned doc to items and this to header. So talking about our forms, we have, this is a home form which we created last time. I added this link which will help us to view all users, and then in the users EJS file we have items.for each. Now take note of something here. On our get route, okay, hope you can all hear me. Okay, so on our get on our users route, where we get all the users in our database, after getting the users, we anchored with the user model. Remember, we do a .then and we pass in a function, and the data gotten from here is stored in this document that has been passed as a parameter in this function. And then from here we can do whatever we want to do with that data, because it is already stored here in this doc variable, or let's put it that way. So that is why from here then we do a response.render. We render the web page, the EJS file or page users, which is here, and then we do a comma and we assign this. So this is like assigning something to a variable as done in JavaScript, but this is just a special case. We assign this doc to items because these items will be recognized in the EJS file, which we can reuse, right? We assign these registered users to header, which will be recognized here. Now, so in our users.ejs file, I simply created a table. Now EJS has this syntax, so you can see we have a header and the EJS syntax printed out here. So what happens here is EJS looks at what is assigned, Express looks at what has been assigned to header from this route and prints it out here. So this is the EJS syntax to print a variable from the Express server. And following that, we created a variable, we created a table. This is bare HTML. Now my interest is here. So remember, the data gotten from here stored in this document variable, this doc variable, it is like in the form of JSON. It's like an object. Yes, that's the right term. It's like an object, and so we have to find a way where we can display each of it on a table. Let me show this here. So we need to find a way how we can display each of these on a table, printing out every row clearly with the ID, the name, and the email. So what we need to do here is to use a for each function. You know, you need to run a for each, which is going to take every item in that object and create a row. So that's basically what happens here, and create a row, right? So remember, in the for each we use items dot for each, and this items is being referred to here. Remember, we assign doc to items, the document to items, right? And so items dot for each, and in this function we pass in a user, and this user surely refers to each and every item, you know, or each and every record. Let me use NoSQL terms, each and every record. And remember, we are taking the name and the email. It therefore means that in that object we are going to have the name, which is maybe John, and the email, which is maybe any email, right? So, and don't forget, MongoDB adds an additional field, which is an ID, automatically. So that's why we have user.id, user.name, and user.email with this EJS syntax. And so if we save this and we get to our output, localhost 3000, let's get to our home. So let's add a new user, let's say, and let's use any email. So it registers and it takes us here. So as you can see, we have the ID, we have this in blue, and we have this email. So if we check our database, let us check our database, you'll see users, and inside our users we have this. This is the ID, automatically added by Mongo DB, and we have the name and we have the email. So if we get back to our home to add a new user, you find that on our table. So briefly, that was just a demo to show you. I'll push this code right away to GitHub so you can learn from. Any questions? Are there any questions? Are there any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. So I know this was really brief, but if you have any worries or questions, you can always let me know. So let's add this to our GitHub. Okay, so that's done. Code found on GitHub. So thank you for today's session. I know that was very brief. Perhaps we can call this a demo, but if you have any questions, you can always do well to drop your questions in the group. So we are going to end at this level for today, and see you in the next session. Have a good night, everyone.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Have a good night, sir.
Have a good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.